His wife would never expect that because she accepted her first love's proposal ring. Our main character, Xu Chen, would straight up take matters into his own hands and organize a massive wedding of the century for them as a savage parting gift that they will never forget. The secretary hands him the divorce papers. She retrieved them from the safe on their exact 5th wedding anniversary. As the secretary hands over the papers, we flash back to 5 years ago. She supposedly loved him deeply back then. President Xiao pre-signed a divorce agreement and locked it inside a safe. If she ever strayed, he could sign it and leave anytime. Sitting across from her empty chair, our main character Xu Chen quickly signs his own name on the dotted line. He tells the secretary to take the papers to their lawyer and book a hotel. The secretary is completely stunned. She hesitantly asks whose names to put down, and he says Xiao Wan and Cheng Yunfei. The secretary freezes in sheer disbelief since Cheng Yunfei is President Xiao's first love. She asks when the wedding should happen. He slowly gazes out the window as the hour-long blue fireworks finally fade away. They leave a glowing message wishing Xiao Wan and Xu Chen a happy 5th anniversary. He pulls his gaze back. Hold the wedding in 7 days, he says, and book a one-way flight to Norway. The secretary is shocked. But 5 years ago, besides that pre-signed divorce agreement, there was more. His wealthy parents who live all the way in Norway had actually added a massive 50 million yuan dowry to their marriage. The condition was that if he ever got hurt and returned to Norway alone, Xiao Wan would be banned from entering the country forever, which means she will have zero chance of ever begging for forgiveness. He shakes his head. 7 days from now is his birth date, and he will leave her forever. And at the same time, he will give her and Cheng Yunfei their dream wedding. Talk about an absolute plot twist. He decides to let them be together, but the moment his secretary leaves, his phone suddenly buzzes with a new notification. It is a very public post from Xiao Wan's official company account, sharing a photo of those blue fireworks and tagging him directly. It reads, "Love you forever." Within a single minute, the comment section is absolutely blowing up with envy. People are saying they finally know who those spectacular fireworks were for. It turns out President Xiao actually set them off specifically for her beloved husband of 5 long years. She is always so loud about her love, and after a major surgery last year, waking up, she was still barely conscious. Seeing him, her very first words were asking if his bad stomach was okay. Asking if he ate lunch on time, which honestly moved the nurses to tears. Amidst the chaos, Xiao Wan actually replies to a random comment, writing that Xu Chen is her forever husband. She adds that loving and taking care of him is her duty, causing more envy. The internet is flooded with admiration, but the husband they are all envying? He just stares blankly. Honestly, they really did love each other during their 7 years together. And in all that time, they never had a single argument. Xiao Wan is a powerhouse female CEO who used to shower her husband Xu Chen with endless cash and love. But a month ago, while she was away on a business trip, things took a dark turn. Our main character found out she was cheating when she accidentally sent him a voice note. He played it, only to hear a completely random guy talking in the background. The guy brags that he was back in the country for a month and already had her hooked. He mentioned she set off blue fireworks for him, even though he hated the color blue. He suggested she use them for her wedding anniversary instead, leaving Xu Chen clueless about who this man was. It all clicked 2 weeks later at a party when Xiao Wan walked in with that exact same dude. She casually introduced him as Cheng Yunfei, claiming he was just a distant cousin. He flashed a bright smile, acting all innocent while waving hello. He said he was glad to finally meet his cousin's husband after being back for over a month. But hearing that deep, familiar voice made Xu Chen's mind go completely blank. He couldn't stand being there and left early, while Xiao Wan did not get home until midnight. Fast forward to today, which happens to be their 5th wedding anniversary. Xu Chen arrives at the restaurant first, but 5 minutes later, his wife calls. She claims she is setting up a massive surprise and cannot make it to their romantic dinner. She tells him to just watch the fireworks alone, then abruptly hangs up on him. Literally 2 minutes later, he gets a message on WeChat with a photo. He opens it. She is having a romantic, wine-filled dinner with Cheng Yunfei. Talk about a plot twist. Honestly, she probably posted that sweet anniversary tribute while literally cuddling in the other guy's arms. Ignoring her fake online love post, Xu Chen grabs his bag and heads straight home. Once home, he grabs a pair of scissors and pulls out his custom-matching couple shirt. He shreds the shirt into pieces, then turns their marriage certificate into absolute confetti. He packs all the scraps into a gift box and writes "second marriage gift" right on top. Just as he finishes, Xiao Wan walks through the door and surprises him. She smiles warmly and pulls him downstairs, telling him she has prepared an amazing surprise. When they get down, there is a massive display truck waiting outside. On the back sits a giant deep blue gift box, and Xiao Wan happily claps her hands. The box automatically pops open, sending balloons and confetti flying everywhere. Inside is a gorgeous gray Maybach with staff members holding up a massive banner. It reads, "A gift for Mr. Xu Chen," leaving all the neighbors watching in absolute awe. Handing him the keys, she looks at him with fake devotion and calls him her beloved husband. She mentions remembering how he wanted a new car and says as his wife, she has to deliver. She promises to always give him everything he wants, but as he takes the keys, wait, look closely. He spots a fresh, deep hickey on the right side of her neck. She tried to cover it with makeup, but up close, it is incredibly obvious. A wave of pure disgust hits him, and he cannot help but frown. Seeing his reaction, she asks if he is unhappy with the color or the car itself. Her eyes fill with worry, completely oblivious to the fact that her secret is out. He just shakes his head, staring at her, and mutters that the car is actually great. But in his mind, he doesn't hate the car, he hates her. She lets out a sigh of relief, and they head back upstairs to the bedroom. But immediately, she spots the mysterious gift box sitting on the vanity and goes to reach for it. He quickly blocks the label, but she smiles, asking if this is his surprise for her. Seeing her get all excited, he can only offer a cold, knowing smirk. Xu Chen smiles half-heartedly. "Yes, but I cannot give it to you just yet. I am currently preparing a second gift, and in 7 days, I will give you both of them together. Knowing you as well as I do, I know you will absolutely love it." A double surprise in 7 days? Xiao Wan is already looking forward to it. But after thinking for a second, she starts murmuring, what day is 7 days from now? Suddenly she realizes, walking out of the bedroom to call her male assistant. I almost forgot, 7 days from now is Xu Chen's birthday. Go ahead and arrange a truly massive banquet. The bigger the better, he always throws a huge party for me every year. I cannot mistreat him on his birthday, but as Xiao Wan says this, she fails to notice. Standing right outside by the bedroom door, Xu Chen's face is ice cold. They have been together for 7 years, and Xiao Wan had never once forgotten his birthday. But this year, because Cheng Yunfei came back, she completely wiped his birthday right out of her mind. Honestly, he can't wait to see her face at that elaborate birthday party. When the guest of honor never shows up, what will her expression be? He pulls out his phone. He immediately texts his secretary, asking her to find out where Xiao Wan is hosting his birthday banquet. At which hotel is it being held? Place my wedding venue. Directly on the floor right above her banquette. Yes, sir, the secretary replies. He turns to go take a shower, while Xiao Wan is about to walk back into the bedroom. Then her assistant calls again. Oh, by the way, President Chow, do not forget. You were supposed to accompany your husband to eat barbecue at the university today. He will be super sad tonight if you do not. Right, I almost forgot. Order the barbecue according to Xu Chen's taste. I'll take him myself, she says, hastily pushing open the bedroom door. Xu Chen hears every single word of this clearly as she walks in and takes the bathrobe from his hand, setting it aside. Xu Chen, let's go eat barbecue at the university. I already ordered it all. We can eat right when we get there. That little barbecue place by the university gate was actually his absolute favorite spot back in college. Back then, because of a minor incident, he and Xiao Wan first met there and fell deeply in love. 2 years later, they got married, and on every single wedding anniversary, Xiao Wan would always accompany him here. In the past, she would always prepare everything in advance. Now, she literally needs her assistant's reminder just to remember their anniversary. An hour later, her black Bentley pulls up right in front of the small barbecue shop. It is incredibly eye-catching, and a live streamer spots Xiao Wan in him. She excitedly approaches with her phone, gasping, "Oh my God, it is the husband pampering President Xiao! Look, everyone in the stream! The power couple I stan is literally so perfect together!" Rumor has it that she comes here every single wedding anniversary with her husband just to eat barbecue. It turns out the rumors are true. She holds his hand as they walk inside. She notices his shirt collar is slightly messy right there in front of the whole crowd.
Xiao Wan stops, standing on her tiptoes to gently adjust his collar for him.
This sweet gesture makes all the nearby college girls super envious, and some brave souls even yell out blessings. A billionaire CEO fixing her husband's collar is just too sweet. I hope you two stay together forever. But Xu Chen just looks at the tiptoeing woman with completely blank eyes, turning around to offer a polite yet distant smile. Xiao Wan and he head inside, sitting down together at their usual spot, right next to the window.
She looks at the owner at the register and asks, "Is the barbecue ready? We want chives, chicken wings."
Oysters and grilled buns made slightly spicy and numbing. My husband loves this exact combo and also bring us 2 bottles of room temperature cola. Right on cue, the freshly grilled food arrives. The shop owner recognizes Xiao Wan instantly. She actually just told her husband how deeply she remembers this sweet couple. It is past 9 p.m. and their love is still going strong. Today is their anniversary, so she knew they would show up. Serving the skewers with a warm smile, she notes it has been 5 whole years. She asks Xiao Wan when she and Xu Chen plan to finally have kids. Xiao Wan looks at him shyly, saying they will let nature take its course. She claims she wants a mini Xu Chen, while he just stares down. He stays silent, so she thoughtfully hands him a skewer. Suddenly, some guy walks in to tell Xiao Wan her car got scratched. He asks her to check on it, making her frown in annoyance. She tells her husband to eat first, promising she will be right back. She tells him to order whatever he wants, but warns against cold drinks.
Because of his weak stomach. What a sweet, caring line, right?
The other customers are literally dying of jealousy over how attentive she is. Remembering his bad stomach is actually next-level care. They wish they were in his shoes, while the owner smiles at silent Xu Chen. She tells him he is incredibly lucky to have found such a beautiful woman. Finding a gentle, faithful wife is a 1 in a million chance. He just smiles bitterly. Since he actually got a fake one, he quickly changes the subject. Looking out, he sees Xiao Wan walk out with that man. The guy whispers something, and she nods. She walks over and gets into a black SUV that looks insanely familiar. At the last party, her ex, Cheng Yunfei, made a grand entrance in it. The license plate is an exact match, and rumor says she bought it. It was his return gift, worth nearly $3 million, about the same as his Maybach. This girl is literally a master at balancing both. Ex versus husband. She keeps them equal, but he cannot see inside the car. He looks away, and right then, an unknown number calls his phone. He hesitates but picks up, only to hear Cheng Yunfei mockingly calling him smart. He hangs up, trembling. Staring at the food, a sudden wave of intense nausea hits him.
It feels like something is squeezing his heart, making him completely dizzy.
Feeling absolutely terrible, he picks up his chopsticks. He mindlessly stabs the food, and 30 minutes later, Xiao Wan returns. She notices the barely touched food, then looks at his pale face. Her heart drops, and she asks why he looks so terrible.
She frantically asks if he is sick, offer him to take him to a doctor.
Her voice is filled with panic, but he turns away from her hypocritical face. He says some disgusting words ruined his appetite, which instantly makes her panic. As Xiao Wan anxiously presses for answers, he tells her she really wouldn't want to know.
His eyes grow slightly red, leaving Xiao Wan completely confused.
She gets up to hug him, but he coldly dodges her. Our boy has had enough. He storms out of the barbecue joint and dives straight into a taxi. He tells the driver to head straight home, completely ignoring his wife Xiao Wan as she screams for him to wait. Realizing she can't block the cab, Xiao Wan rushes to her Bentley to chase him down. She actually tails the cab the whole way while our guy just sits in the back, totally unfazed. Honestly, looking at the rearview mirror, this is absolute comedy. The Bentley is tailing his taxi, and the secret lover's black G-Wagon is tailing her Bentley right into the villa complex. The second our main character steps out of the cab, Xiao Wan jumps out after him. She desperately grabs his hand, begging to know why he is mad, asking if it is because she left him to handle her car. She thinks it is just about a missed dinner, but our guy just stares right back at her with zero expression. Her face is covered in pure worry and guilt, making her look totally sincere. But there is zero fear in her eyes as she sighs, claiming she just handled things poorly. She promises that next time, even if her ride gets completely totaled, she will stay by his side. She squeezes his hand, trying to act like the perfect, devoted wife. Then she cautiously brings up that her assistant just called about an important client who supposedly fell from a building.
Apparently, this client is in critical condition, so she claims she has to rush over immediately.
She asks for his permission, but our guy just frowns because he knows better. He easily catches the hidden excitement flashing through her eyes beneath that fake, helpless expression. She is so desperate to meet her lover that she is literally making up wild stories on the spot. Imagine making up a fatal accident just to cheat. Our guy just scoffs at the sheer audacity. Not even worth it. He just gives her a cold, simple nod. He walks back toward the villa, but stops right at the entrance instead of going inside. Instead, he heads straight to the parking lot and catches her passionately making out with her lover inside that black G-Wagon. The side piece, Cheng Yunfei, gulps nervously and asks her if she is still spending his birthday with him tomorrow. They speed away, straight out of the underground parking lot. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. It is a text from his cheating wife.
She sends him a GPS pin by a quiet lake, and 30 minutes later, our boy is already there.
He sits quietly in a taxi, staring at that infamous black G-Wagon parked just a short distance away. People are literally gathering around to watch because the car is actively shaking, and our guy is just watching with bloodshot eyes. He is completely numb. Shaking, he records a solid 5-minute video. He sends the clip straight to his secretary and instructs them to play it live on their wedding day. Oh, this face slapping will be legendary! After sending that voice note, he makes another call. He calls his mom, telling her he will be leaving for Norway in 7 days to join her and his dad. His mother immediately hears his voice cracking and knows something is deeply wrong. She asks if Xiao Wan is coming along, but he tells her he is returning entirely on his own. Sensing the betrayal, his mother tells him not to worry and promises she will handle everything. She promises to pick him up at the airport. Fast forward to midnight. Xiao Wan stumbles back home completely wasted, making so much noise that she wakes him right up. She immediately cups his face and starts showering him with kisses, clearly anxious because of his mood earlier. She keeps desperately whispering how much she loves him, trying to ease her own guilt. She tells him he can scream at her or even hit her as long as he does not leave. She begs him to stay forever, promising him that he has absolutely nothing to worry about. She literally says she would never cheat on him while they are lying together in their massive bed. Our guy just stares at her with a dead cold look because she is way too drunk to realize something. She literally forgot to cover the fresh hickeys on her neck, yet the love in her eyes still looks incredibly real. Insanely twisted. Just like that, the next morning arrives. He wakes up completely groggy, finding that Xiao Wan already squeezed his toothpaste. The warm rinse water is ready on the floor, and she even picked out his outfit for the day. Once he gets all dressed and ready, Xiao Wan heads downstairs with him. At the breakfast table, her phone vibrates, and she quickly sneaks a glance at the screen. She gives him an apologetic look, telling her husband she won't be coming home tonight. Claiming there's a gathering, his hand freezes mid-bite as he eats his pancake. He already knows she is actually meeting up with Cheng Yunfei, so he does not bother exposing her lie. He just agrees, and the moment she leaves, he hails a cab to Taylor. 20 minutes later, Xiao Wan drives her car into a pretty high-end residential neighborhood. There is Cheng Yunfei, wearing a long gray trench coat and a matching scarf. Looking all handsome and stylish, he spots her Bentley from a mile away. He smirks, waves, and hops into the passenger seat, where the two definitely cuddle for a bit. Only then does she drive out, and 30 minutes later, they arrive at their destination. The black Bentley stops right outside a wedding photography studio, and Cheng Yunfei steps out to wait. He naturally takes her arm as they head inside, where the staff immediately greets them with big smiles. They warmly welcome President Xiao and Mr. Cheng, saying they already cleared out the entire studio. The guide offers to show them the different styles of wedding photos they will shoot today. He stares blankly from his cab, a cold rage washing over him. This is actually painful to watch. Suddenly, his phone vibrates in his hand, and he looks down at the screen. It is a call from his close buddy Lin Fengxing, so he slides to answer it. Lin Fengxing's cheerful voice immediately comes through the speaker, asking him where he is hanging out.
Lin wants to grab some tea, but he just gives him the address of the wedding studio.
On the other end of the line, Lin Fengxing goes completely quiet for a few seconds. He gasps, asking if he and Xiao Wan are shooting new wedding photos after 5 years of marriage. He even jokes about how sweet they are, making single guys like him totally jealous.
He snaps back to reality, his voice dropping as he says his friend's name.
He quietly confesses that she isn't shooting these photos with him, leaving his friends stunned. It instantly clicks for Lin Fengxing. She is with another man, which means she is cheating. He tells him to wait right there because he is rushing over in 20 minutes flat. Once he gets into Lin Fengxing's car, his worried friend starts asking him what is going on.
He finally opens up about how Xiao Wan started cheating the moment Cheng Yunfei returned.
Then he pulls up a recording from a month ago sent by Cheng Yunfei using her phone. He plays the provocative voice message, pointing right at the wedding studio. Talk about absolute disrespect. With a bitter smile, he explains that today is actually Cheng Yunfei's birthday. Xiao Wan is spending it shooting wedding photos with him, and Lin Fengxing looks over in disbelief. Inside the studio, Xiao Wan is right there. She leans down to gently adjust Cheng Yunfei's collar, her expression incredibly soft. Every movement is so careful, as if she is handling a precious piece of art. Lin Fengxing absolutely loses it, saying he cannot watch this and wants to go beat them up. He wants to get some revenge for his bro, since he has always had a short temper. He rolls up his sleeves to storm the place, but our main character quickly stops him. He wants to see exactly how far they will go, and 30 minutes later, they exit. Xiao Wan and Cheng Yunfei step out, one wearing a sharp black suit and the other in a gown. She looks stunning in her white wedding dress as they hold hands and get back in the Bentley.
After a short drive, they arrive at a scenic lake nearby. To avoid anyone taking secret photos, they blocked off the entire wedding shoot area.
The photographer is already waiting. He greets them, endlessly praising how incredibly perfect Miss Yao and Mr. Cheng look together. A match made in heaven. Cheng Yunfei holds her arm tight, smiling like a total winner.
He literally brags that his taste in women is unmatched because his wife is a goddess.
Within 30 minutes, they blitz through 3 different wedding outfits. It is freezing cold outside.
During their breaks, Xiao Wan thoughtfully wraps a heavy coat around Cheng Yunfei.
Whenever he struggles to pose, she is right there, whispering warm, encouraging words.
She keeps comforting him until the shoot is over, but watch what happens next.
Xiao Wan does not leave. Instead, she suddenly drops down on one knee. Right before Cheng Yunfei's shocked eyes, she pulls out a special gift. It is a stunning ring and fresh roses, reminding him of his past jealousy.
She tells him she proposed to her first husband, so she wants to propose to him too.
Even though he politely declined to protect her reputation, she insists on doing this. She begs him to marry her, promising she will never let him feel unappreciated. Cheng Yunfei gets emotional, crying as he nods yes. He accepts immediately, and the entire photography crew starts cheering for them. Watching them from his car, Xu Chen feels his face grow completely cold. He feels completely numb. 5 years ago, Xiao Wan proposed to him with that exact same passion, wearing a gorgeous white dress. She held the same bright roses and a carefully chosen ring just for him. She even cried back then, swearing Xu Chen was the only man she would ever love. She begged him to marry her, claiming no other guy could ever replace him. She literally swore that if she ever cheated, she would pay with her life. Xu Chen lets out a hollow laugh, which quickly crumbles into silent, painful tears. Honestly, this is low-key heartbreaking. Everything she ever said was a complete lie. Lin Fengxing watches him with deep pity as his friend suffers in silence. He softly asks if they should keep following now that the couple is leaving. Xu Chen looks out the window, quietly telling his friend to keep tailing them. He wants to see where they are heading next. 1 hour later, they arrive. The Bentley pulls up to a high-end Western restaurant in a busy district. Located in the heart of Lincheng, window seats here are almost impossible to book. Since it is not a peak dining hour, the place is mostly empty. Only a few tables are occupied, with elegant screens separating each dining area. Xiao Wan is being extremely cautious to avoid getting caught. He watches them enter. Xu Chen quickly slips next door to buy a mature outfit as a disguise.
Putting on a face mask and a hat, he carefully walks inside the restaurant.
Ling Fengsheng uses some serious cash to secure the table right behind the cheaters.
Right after they sit down, a waiter guides a middle-aged couple to their table.
The newcomers look to be around 50 years old and join the party.
They seem like ordinary people, but the man looks strangely familiar to him. He looks 50% identical to Cheng Yunfei. Are these actually his parents?
Ling Fengxing gasps in shock, while Xu Chen silently pulls out his phone. Our boy Xu Chen finds the perfect angle, snapping a few quick photos through the divider gap. Talk about perfect timing. He catches Xiao Wan handing over a black card straight to Cheng Yunfei.
Lin Fengsheng is fuming, calling her a gold-digging cheater for giving away a black card.
Xu Chen looks down, slowly putting away his phone and saying they should leave. He cannot stand staying here another second, so they head down to the lobby. Fengsheng offers to drive him home, but Xu Chen just shakes his head. He tells him his mind is a total mess and he needs some space.
Understanding his pain, Fengxing does not push it, only telling him to stay safe.
Once his friend leaves, Xu Chen is left wandering the empty streets all alone.
The temperature outside has plummeted to -1 degree, and his thin jacket does nothing.
But honestly, the freezing weather has nothing on the absolute chill in his shattered heart. Suddenly, his phone buzzes with a message from none other than Xiao Wan herself. He opens it up, only to see 3 wedding photos staring right back at him. In one photo, Xiao Wan is clinging tightly to Cheng Yunfei like her entire world. Another shows them kissing, and the last one has Xiao Wan on one knee proposing. Cheng Yunfei has a smug smile as she texts that they took wedding photos today.
She bragged about him proposing in public and how deeply touched she was.
He even wants to meet her parents, and besides the official marriage certificate, they are doing everything a real wedding does, asking who says sharing a partner is bad.
She says she can accept this arrangement, so it is up to him to handle it.
Xu Chen stares at those incredibly toxic, smug texts and does not reply a single word. Instead, he forwards those wedding photos to his secretary along with the dinner photos from earlier, plus screenshots of every single chat log between the 2 cheaters. He orders them to play on the big screen at the wedding, then puts his phone away. Walking like a literal zombie, he does not even notice a black car speeding out of control. It is heading straight for him. No time to react. Crash! The impact throws him 2 meters away, sending him into total darkness for a long time. When he finally opens his eyes, the pungent smell of hospital disinfectant hits his nose. Waking up in a stark white ward, Xiao Wan is right there waiting for him. She rushes to the bed, her dark eyes filled with worry as she asks if he is awake. Asking if he is hurting anywhere, Xu Chen slowly turns his gaze toward her. His eyes land on Xiao Wan, whose eyes are completely bloodshot and teary. She looks so anxious and heartbroken, as if she wished she was the one who got hit.
Honestly, looking at her just makes him sick to his stomach. Her fake concern is disgusting.
Those cozy wedding photos flash in his mind, making his stomach churn. Oh, Xiao Wan.
Which version of her is real? She panics, asking why he is staying so quiet.
Panic setting in over his silence, she turns to run and call a doctor.
Before she can leave, Xu Chen reaches out and grabs her hand to stop her. In a raspy voice, he asks why she is even here, catching her completely off guard. When the hospital called her, she was actually having dinner with Cheng Yunfei's parents. Terrified, she had abandoned his entire family on the spot and rushed right over.
Glad he is okay, she lies, claiming she was just dining with a client tonight.
She says she was chasing a huge deal when she got the accident call. Xu Chen just narrows his eyes, staring straight through her pathetic lie. He asks if she really just left a client, and she sighs, saying she is exhausted. Xiao Wan rubs her temples, while Xu Chen slowly closes his eyes in silence. She doesn't even sit with him for long before her phone starts ringing. She quickly cuts the call, but they just keep spamming her. Xiao Wan puts it on silent and immediately starts texting back. A minute later, she makes some weak excuse and rushes out.
Barely a second after she leaves, his best friend Lin Fengxing shows up.
But his face is dead serious, asking who he ran into downstairs. Seeing his friend, Xu Chen slowly sits up. He thinks for a second and guesses Xiao Wan, making Lin Fengxing scoff. With pure disgust, his friend explains the 3rd floor is the Mayo Clinic. The elevator doors opened, and there were Xiao Wan and Cheng Yunfei acting suspicious.
He followed the crowd out of the elevator and watched them closely. Bro, this is wild. He was holding her pregnancy report, smiling like a total maniac. Hearing this, Xu Chen just looks down thoughtfully without showing any anger. His wife is pregnant with another man's kid, yet he is bizarrely calm.
Lin Fengxing cannot pinpoint what is wrong, so he leans in closer.
He feels Xu Chen's forehead, asking if he has a fever or lost his mind.
He smiles faintly, pale lips parting slightly. He quietly reveals the truth. Xiao Wan has medical issues and cannot have children. 3 years ago, they tried for a full year and absolutely nothing happened. Xu Chen assumed he was the issue, so he booked a fertility checkup. Xiao Wan played the supportive wife, accompanying him so he wouldn't feel anxious. But the results showed she was the one who was infertile, crushing him. He had to accept a lifetime without kids. As long as she loved him, it was fine, and he protected her pride. He had Dr. He hide her results, taking the blame for her condition. Now his cheating wife is celebrating her miracle pregnancy. All of his careful sacrifices for 3 years just made him look foolish.
Ain't no way. This drama is absolutely insane, and Lin Fengxing is losing his mind. He rubs his hands together with a devious grin, his mind instantly racing.
He tells Xu Chen he has a plan since Xu Chen leaves for Norway in 5 days. This pregnancy is almost certainly a scam cooked up by that fraud Cheng Yunfei. When the truth unravels, let's see how he handles it. We will watch him burn. Once the timing is perfect, they will mail those old infertility results right to them. Lin Fengxing cannot wait to see how hard Xiao Wan explodes when she learns the truth. The next morning, his cheating wife doesn't even show up at the hospital.
That afternoon, the secretary visits his hospital room to update him on the wedding.
The assistant hesitates, prompting Xu Chen to tell him to speak his mind. Looking nervous, the secretary lowers his voice to share some scandalous news. He explains he delivered files to the villa and found Cheng Yunfei in pajamas. The guy was literally lounging on Xu Chen's living room couch, acting like he owned it. The secretary couldn't ignore it any longer, leaving Xu Chen feeling a sudden chill. His expression goes cold, realizing he is still recovering in this hospital bed. Yet his wife's lover has already moved in, explaining her strange warning last night. She insisted he must tell her before getting discharged so she could cover her tracks. Xu Chen sighs and thanks his contact, grabbing his phone to pull up the secret security footage. But the screen is pitch black. Sneaky Xiao Wan blocked the lens beforehand. Frowning, Xu Chen looks up at his secretary, who is still waiting by the door. He orders them to distract the cheating couple tonight and secretly install hidden cameras. Understood, sir. Fast forward to 10 p.m. Xiao Wan walks into the hospital room, looking down at Xu Chen in his bed. Pretending to be apologetic, she asks if he called her over because he missed her. She starts making excuses about being busy, but Xu Chen does not even let her finish. Instead, he plays along, saying he knows she is busy planning his upcoming birthday banquet. So you came to see me so late? Xiao Wan freezes. She quickly smiles and holds his hand, praising him for understanding her. Xu Chen just stares. Playing along, he whispers that yes, he indeed knows her. He knows everything she does. Hearing this, Xiao Wan's heart literally skips a beat. She stammers his name, Xu Chen, trying to find words to defend herself. Luckily for her, the nurse walks in to change his intravenous drip, cutting the tension. The next day, Xu Chen checks the camera feed to find his wife and her lover eating. Cheng Yunfei is literally sitting in Xu Chen's usual spot while Xiao Wan whines about her pregnancy. She is refusing to eat, so her lover patiently tries to spoon-feed her. He begs her to eat and stay healthy for the sake of their unborn baby. Xiao Wan smiles, looking like the happiest, most innocent woman in the world. Once Cheng Yunfei goes upstairs, Xiao Wan calls all the maids over. She warns them that since Cheng Yunfei does not have an official title yet, it is normal for him to be irritable, so they must accommodate his bad temper. More importantly, she tells them that when her husband Xu Chen returns, nobody is allowed to utter a single word. Meanwhile, Xu Chen calmly watches this play out. Looking away from the screen, he instructs his secretary to prepare the wedding invitations. He drafts the guest list today. Oh, he is cooking up a massive revenge scheme, guys. Fast forward to the morning of the 3rd day before his planned departure. Xiao Wan visits him with some pork rib soup she supposedly had specially prepared. She sweet-talks him into trying his favorite soup, and he calmly agrees. He does not refuse. He slowly sips the soup. 30 minutes after she leaves, Xu Chen immediately opens his laptop to check the cameras. In the living room, Cheng Yunfei is caressing Xiao Wan's belly while they watch prenatal videos. The lover coos that he hopes their baby gets her beautiful big eyes. Xiao Wan blushes, replying that the baby should inherit his perfect jawline instead. Disgusting. That very night, Lawyer Lai arrives at the hospital with some major news. The divorce papers are finally finalized. Xu Chen looks down at the official documents. He looks at his secretary to request a copy. He wants it placed in their wedding gift box. Their 7-year relationship ends now. Morning of the second day, Xiao Wan arrives carrying a bright bouquet of sunflowers. She also brings a $1 million jade amulet she bought to pray for his health. Seeing his speedy recovery, she gently hangs the expensive amulet around his neck. Smiling warmly, she tells him that he can finally be discharged tomorrow morning.
She claims she got the amulet from a grandmaster just to keep him safe.
Xu Chen stares down at the green jade on his chest, his expression freezing. Last night, the side piece had appendicitis, and Xiao Wan completely panicked. She rushed him to the hospital, desperately praying for his safety. Meanwhile, the jade protective amulet she bought for her actual husband, Xu Chen, a total afterthought. The moment she leaves, the secretary enters the hospital room with invitations. The very second you board that plane, we will blast those digital invitations to everyone. He hesitates before dropping some major news. Xiao Wan just bought the massive luxury villa right behind their house. Is not that place occupied? He nods. She threw down insane money and offered them a huge business contract. And handed over a massive contract just to kick them out. And get this, the entire villa is registered solely under his name. A reward for getting her pregnant? Talk about toxic. Honestly, the sheer audacity of this cheating wife is crazy. She is building a golden cage. That evening, Xu Chen checks the security cameras and spots him moving in. He looks so dramatic directing the move.
It is Yu Chen's final day. Xiao Wan arrives early to bring him home.
She plays the doting wife, fastening his seatbelt and speaking so softly.
She reminds him it is his birthday.
Everything is ready for tonight, and she wants him to invite his friends. Their car pulls into the familiar estate. Inside, Xu Chen realizes absolutely nothing has changed since he left.
It is almost like Cheng Yunfei was never even there.
But inside the bedroom, he spots a men's electric shaver on her vanity.
He glances at the brand.
It is easily worth over $1,000, making this a straight-up declaration of war. The side piece is marking his territory, but Xu Chen ignores it. A servant calls him down for dinner, where Xiao Wan starts peeling shrimp.
She feeds him lovingly.
The exact same way she fed her lover just 2 days ago. Xu Chen quietly declines, staring into her deep eyes. He asks a sudden question. What if she dreamed that he left her for good? Would she care? Xiao Wan instantly freezes. She grabs his hand, pleading that she would not just be sad. Do not leave me, she begs. Before he can reply, her phone on the table starts buzzing. It is a text from the side piece. My surgical wound is bleeding and it hurts. What if it is serious?
Absolute panic instantly flashes in her eyes as she scrambles right out of her seat.
She lies, claiming there is a venue emergency she must handle. She turns to leave. But Xu Chen gently grabs her hand and gives her a soft smile. He quietly tells her goodbye. Something about his peaceful expression sends a shiver down her spine. His eyes, once full of love, are now completely empty. The payback is coming. Her phone buzzes again, and without a second thought, she rushes out. At this point, Xu Chen heads into the master bedroom and packs up all his documents.
He tosses her jade pendant straight into the trash and calls his secretary.
With Xiao Wan off playing nurse to Cheng Yunfei, Xu Chen heads straight to the airport. Once he boards, the real plan kicks off tonight. Oh, and his secretary has to invite Cheng Yunfei to his very own wedding. An hour later, Xu Chen arrives at the airport and clears security. He texts his parents about boarding in 30 minutes, then opens his chat with Xiao Wan. He messages her, I prepared 2 surprises for you tonight. Hope you like them. Xiao Wan replies instantly, Hubby, I am so looking forward to your surprise. She claims she is still setting up his birthday venue and needs to stay to supervise. She tells him to wait for her to pick him up, making Xu Chen smirk. He replies that he will head to the Jizhou Hotel himself, though he has zero intention of showing up. Wait, the birthday party's on the 2nd floor, but the wedding is on the 3rd? Pure genius. He needs Xiao Wan waiting there so his secretary can drop the wedding invitation bombshell.
That is the only way his master plan goes off without a hitch, 30 minutes later. As the boarding call for Norway echoes, Xu Chen rips out his SIM card and tosses it away.
Goodbye, Xiao Wan. From this moment on, you are never seeing him again. By 6:30 p.m., Xiao Wan is waiting anxiously at the hotel entrance. Guests start arriving, and most of them are mutual friends of the couple.
But there is still no sign of Xu Chen. Xiao Wan pulls out her phone to call him. But all she gets is that cold, automated operator voice saying the phone is turned off. Xiao Wan frowns, a sudden wave of dread washing over her.
Wait, is Xu Chen actually angry enough to skip his own birthday party tonight? She grips her phone tight, her mind flashing back to what happened this afternoon.
During lunch, she got a text saying Cheng Yunfei was bleeding from his surgical wound. So she ditched Xu Chen to rush the guy to the hospital, where doctors blamed emotional stress. Apparently, staying up all night ruined his recovery, causing the wound to reopen. The doctor basically told her to be a better caregiver on Xu Chen's actual birthday. Honestly, Xiao Wan planned to just comfort him quickly and get back to her fiancé. But once inside the ward, Cheng Yunfei absolutely refused to let her go.
He places his hand on his stomach, looking like a devoted, tender father.
He whines that he just wants to be with the baby and stay at the hospital.
Xiao Wan looks annoyed and tries to shut it down, saying she has to leave.
Today is Xu Chen's birthday, and she needs to spend it with her fiancé. But the moment she turns to go, Cheng Yunfei curls up on the bed. This grown man shrinks into a ball, crying out that his stitches are hurting. He keeps crying about the baby, and honestly, you won't believe how easily she folds. She spends the entire afternoon by his side, completely losing track of time.
She had to promise him a special surprise tonight just to get him to let go.
But now that she's finally at the hotel, she cannot reach her husband at all.
She panics, wondering why on earth his phone is suddenly switched off.
She dials over and over, but gets the same automated message every single time.
Meanwhile, the secretary has been waiting in the shadows, checking his watch. He steps forward holding a gift box marked as a wedding present and greets her. The secretary hands over a box, saying her husband prepared 2 surprises and asking if she wants to open them. Xiao Wan eagerly grabs the gift box and is about to open it.
But then she freezes, noticing 4 words written on top: second marriage gift.
Her face drops. She demands to know why it says second marriage gift, asking if they got the wrong box. The secretary shakes her head, saying there is absolutely no mistake. She insists this is the exact box, leaving Xiao Wan with a terrible feeling. A dark premonition washes over her, and she instantly shoves the box back into the secretary's hands.
She backs away, terrified.
At this point, she immediately calls the housekeeper, asking where her husband went.
She demands to know if Xu Chen left and orders them to bring him to her party.
The housekeeper nervously answers. He reveals her husband packed his bags and left over 6 hours ago. No shot! Xiao Wan's heart drops instantly. What did you say? She screams, demanding to know where he went and why nobody warned her. The housekeeper sighs over the phone, explaining that her husband actually left some very emotional parting words. He thanked the staff for their 5 years of service and even gave everyone a 5,000 yuan bonus.
And he strictly ordered them not to tell her.
Xiao Wan's head throbs with pain, feeling a sharp ache deep inside her chest. It feels like something vital is being ripped away, and the pain is absolutely agonizing. She desperately wants to rush back, but this massive birthday banquet completely traps her.
The panicked CEO orders the housekeeper to check the bedside table.
She demands to know if Xu Chen's ID and important documents are still kept inside that first drawer. The housekeeper hurries upstairs. He searches through it carefully and reports back with a trembling voice. Only her documents remain inside, while her husband's identification card is totally gone. His passport and driver's license are missing, and it gets worse because ever since Lin Zhongwu left, the husband had workers pack up and move out every single one of his belongings. From what he said, he plans to donate all his personal belongings to an orphanage.
Xiao Wan stands completely frozen, her hands shaking.
A flash of hidden panic and maybe even sheer terror flickers deep within her eyes.
His documents are completely gone, and he even donated all his belongings before leaving.
Could he really be planning to abandon her on his birthday to start a brand new life?
No way, she thinks, desperately opening WeChat to text him.
She texts him, asking if they had agreed to celebrate together and begging him not to be angry. Begging to pick him up, she hits send, but then boom! A red exclamation mark pops up because he completely blocked her.
Xiao Wan stares blankly, but the chat screen only reminds her once again that she has been blocked. The secretary quietly watches this play out before stepping forward to offer the gift box once more. She softly reminds CEO Xiao that her husband wanted her to open it to find his answer. Xiao Wan looks back at the box, her mind completely scrambled and in utter chaos. She opens the gift box almost numbly, and what she sees inside is shocking.
Inside are matching couple shirts shredded into tiny rags with the collar piece resting right on top. Xiao Wan carefully picks up a shredded collar with hospital stitched on it. Staring at that ruined fabric, she stumbles, barely keeping her balance.
She tells herself this must be a sick joke, not Xu Chen's gift.
There is no way he destroyed their couple shirts a year ago?
On their 4th wedding anniversary, he gave her that custom matching shirt with so much hope. He looked at Xiao Wan with pure love shining in his dark eyes. In his heart, she was his one and only wife. He cherished being her husband and loved every single moment they shared. But he warned her that if she ever betrayed his trust, if he lost faith in their marriage, he would personally destroy everything. Flashback ends, and Xiao Wan stands there looking completely lifeless. Talk about a massive plot twist. Does he actually know about her secret affair? He really knew everything. Seeing her completely paralyzed, the secretary finally speaks up. The assistant warns President Xiao that there is more hidden underneath.
Shaking, she tosses the scraps aside and opens the second layer of the box.
Inside lies their sliced-up marriage certificate. He literally shredded their legal bond into tiny pieces. Her hands tremble as she tries to piece it back together. Then she spots the divorce papers.
She freezes instantly, slowly picking up the document to read it over.
Once she recognizes Xu Chen's handwriting, she looks up at her secretary. With a raspy voice, she asks if he retrieved this from the safe. The exact divorce papers she had already signed and locked away.
Our secretary nods, explaining that Xu Chen contacted his lawyer a long time ago.
He finalized the papers. That single sentence hits her like a truck. Xiao Wan looks absolutely devastated, her entire body trembling under the shock. Staring down at the papers, she mutters to herself that this cannot be happening. She desperately tries to convince herself that the divorce agreement is just a sick joke. How could he suddenly leave her out of nowhere? The secretary just watches her completely spiral. The secretary points to the ceiling, reminding President Xiao that her second surprise is waiting upstairs, offering to take her up to the 3rd floor, making Xiao Wan scowl. She instantly refuses because deep down she is absolutely terrified. What terrifying trap did he set? The secretary lowers her gaze, repeating his instructions.
If President Xiao refuses to go upstairs, she must deliver his final message directly.
He said this is the absolute last time he will ever surprise her. Whether she opens it is up to her. Xiao Wan looks incredibly pale.
After hesitating, she slowly walks toward the elevator with the secretary following close behind.
The moment the elevator doors close, the secretary hits send on her phone. Down on the 2nd floor, every single guest's phone starts buzzing at once. Everyone checks their screens, and you can literally see the shock paint their faces. People start whispering in shock. They just got a wedding invitation. It is for Xiao Wan and some guy named Cheng Yunfei.
Is this not supposed to be Xu Chen's birthday party that she hosted? Did they secretly divorce? Honestly, this is easily the drama of the century.
Everyone immediately rushes toward the 3rd floor to see what is going down. Meanwhile, up on the 3rd floor of the Grand Hotel, Xiao Wan steps out of the elevator and finds the hallway lined with display stands.
On top sits a freshly taken wedding photo of her and Cheng Yunfei.
Right above the banquet hall doors, a massive banner is hanging.
It congratulates Xiao Wan and Cheng Yunfei on their wedding. Xiao Wan stares in disbelief.
Her face turns pale.
Who dared to make this decision for her? Setting up this wedding with Cheng Yunfei without her consent. Suddenly, a thought hits her. She whirls around to ask her secretary, could this be a surprise Xu Chen prepared?
The secretary looks down, gesturing toward the main hall to guide her inside.
Director Chao, the real surprise is inside. Xiao Wan's mind goes completely blank. She barely registers walking into the hall, only realizing she has reached the stage. She stands there frozen, completely struck by lightning, and honestly, it is about to get worse.
On the giant screen, their actual divorce papers start flashing for everyone to see,
followed by 99 wedding photos with Cheng Yunfei and family dinners they shared behind his back.
Xiao Wan stumbles back, completely losing her strength, and collapses into a nearby chair. She starts replaying every single interaction with Xu Chen, and the truth finally hits her.
He must have known about Cheng Yunfei all along. Otherwise, when he left at noon, his eyes wouldn't have looked so empty. That goodbye of his was a final farewell.
She was foolish enough to think she hid it well, but her secret was out. He never truly trusted her anymore. She had completely misjudged him.
Xiao Wan looks at her secretary again, her voice trembling with deep regret. Where did Xu Chen go? But the secretary just shakes her head apologetically. The gentleman forbade me from telling you. Just then, a sudden commotion starts.
A figure rushes through the entrance. It is Cheng Yunfei wearing a groom's suit.
He stares at their wedding photos on the big screen, his face glowing with excitement. He looks completely fine now, bragging about this supposed surprise wedding. One air, I love this so much. But unlike his thrilled reaction, Xiao Wan's face is dark. Who told you to come here?
Go back first. Do not stay here. I will talk to you tonight.
Cheng Yunfei frowns, his handsome face instantly twisting with deep annoyance and confusion. He is dying to marry Xiao Wan right now. Didn't you have someone invite me? This is the wedding you prepared for me. My presence as the groom makes perfect sense. It is only natural. But wait, Wanner? Since you already divorced Xu Chen, why didn't you tell me sooner? Were you keeping it a secret to surprise me? By the way, when does it start?
Did you invite my parents too? Are you planning even more surprises for me?
His non-stop questions give Xiao Wan a massive headache. She just wants him gone.
Suddenly, a massive crowd of guests starts pouring into the banquet hall all at once.
They look around the venue in complete shock, their eyes glued to the giant screen.
The screen displays the divorce agreement and the cozy wedding photos of the new couple,
along with those family dinner photos. Suddenly, the screen flashes and changes. And then boom, the screen plays the scandalous secret video Xu Chen took of them in the SUV. Someone immediately spots it and yells out, "Wait, that guy isn't her husband, Xu Chen?" It looks exactly like this Cheng Yunfei guy. The guests instantly erupt into wild gossip, throwing insults and shaking their heads in disgust. Xu Chen's friends are straight up furious, realizing their bro got cheated on this whole time. No wonder he skipped his own birthday party. Our boy finally dumped her, and she had it coming. If I was him, I would dump her too. Perfect wife cheating? Absolutely not. But honestly, this homewrecker is not even good looking. What was she even thinking? Xiao Wan looks absolutely furious, immediately calling the hotel manager to shut the screen down. But the massive screen flashes again, exposing all their private chat screenshots to everyone. These are Xu Chen's screenshots of his chats with Xiao Wan, starting with Cheng Yunfei's insults.
It is a voice note running for 30 long seconds.
The secretary even included the audio playing the guy boasting about returning 6 months ago. He says he hooked her easily, and she even prepared blue fireworks for him tonight. He adds that he hates blue, so he is gifting them to Xu Chen's anniversary. The entire crowd goes wild in shock, while Cheng Yunfei turns completely pale. He panics hard, realizing what an absolute idiot he was to let these get out. Right below the voice note are spicy bed photos of Xiao Wan and Cheng Yunfei. There are mirror selfies of them in matching couple shirts, leading to the next screenshot. It shows Xiao Wan having a romantic candlelight dinner with him on her 5th wedding anniversary. The third leak is a GPS location by the lake, heavily implying a secret hookup. The 4th screenshot displays 3 wedding photos sent directly by Xiao Wan herself, along with massive insults telling Xu Chen to share his wife, sending the guests whispering. Wait, why is Cheng Yunfei the one speaking in Xiao Wan's voice messages?
A sharp guest in the crowd instantly spots the key detail.
They guess that Cheng Yunfei secretly used Xiao Wan's phone to send those messages. This theory immediately clears up the confusion, making everyone realize what happened.
And now everyone is absolutely fuming at how arrogant this side piece actually is.
Sneaking around with a female CEO's phone to mock her actual husband is wild. Even Xiao Wan's closest friends are cringing hard, unable to defend her trashy behavior.
Some guests are ready to throw hands, asking if this homewrecker needs a beating. Her own friends are now teaming up with Xu Chen's side to trash him. They point and scream at Cheng Yunfei while Xiao Wan finally understands everything. Her eyes are completely bloodshot as she confronts him, asking why he stole her phone. He used it to provoke Xu Chen, despite her warning him to stay in line. She promised him anything as long as he never let her husband know he existed. Xiao Wan literally screamed that she only has one real husband in this life.
And that is Chen, she says, staring at the screen in pure shock. Now she feels incredibly guilty, imagining the absolute hell Xu Chen went through. Every single time this side piece mocked him, he must have been totally devastated. Honestly, if the tables were turned, she probably would have lost her mind already. Xiao Wan glares at Cheng Yunfei with pure, icy rage radiating from her body. Cheng Yunfei shakes his head, terrified because she has never looked at him like this.
He tries to make excuses, claiming the husband called and insulted him first. He claims he was just fighting back, arguing he would never provoke him otherwise. Xiao Wan is totally furious, slamming her heavy handbag right into his face.
She beats him repeatedly, screaming that he is still trying to lie. Knowing Xu Chen's gentle nature, there was no way he would ever do that. He would never stoop so low. Cheng Yunfei whimpers in pain as his wound opens. He gasps out that his surgery wound is in absolute agony. He begs her to calm down so she does not scare their unborn baby.
Xiao Wan takes a deep breath, pulls her hand back, and grinds her teeth.
If you weren't the father of my child, I'd end you right here and now. You better be glad you're the dad. Meanwhile, Cheng Yunfei gasps heavily for air.
His eyes dart around nervously as the hotel manager rushes up to the third floor.
The manager frantically presses the remote, but the screen refuses to shut off.
He finally has his staff yank the main power plug, ending this absolute wedding train wreck in total disaster. Left completely alone in the massive, empty wedding hall, Xiao Wan immediately pulls out her phone and calls Lin Fengxing. The moment the call connects, before Xiao Wan can even utter a single syllable,
Lin Fengxing beats her to it with heavy sarcasm, asking if today isn't her big wedding day.
He mockingly congratulates her, adding that he was too busy to show up for her wedding of the century.
With a pale face and a cracking hoarse voice, Xiao Wan tries to explain it's all a misunderstanding.
She insists that Xu Chen got it all wrong and she will explain everything to him. On the other end of the line, Lin Fengxing just sneers coldly.
Getting knocked up by your first love is a misunderstanding?
Lin Fengxing snaps that Xiao Wan knows the truth better than anyone.
Honestly, Xu Chen sacrificed absolutely everything for this relationship. Back when he first met Xiao Wan during his college days, he was a junior at Lu Xingyao University, fully planning to move to Norway with his parents after graduation. But her sudden appearance completely tied him down. As a wealthy, handsome guy who was deeply pampered by his own parents,
he resolutely chose to stay in the country, only returning to Norway for a single week each year. And he did all of that just because a deeply in love Xiao Wan begged him to stay by her side.
Xu Chen held on to those words for 5 whole years, yet throughout their 5 years of marriage,
everyone on the outside mocked him as a useless gold digger who was completely dependent on Xiao Wan.
But almost nobody knew that some of Xiao Wan's most important high-level business connections were actually secured by Xu Chen behind the scenes because of his high emotional intelligence and deep love. For 5 years, absolutely none of Xiao Wan's close friends, family members, or corporate executives could find a single fault with him. Meanwhile, Xiao Wan's face turns deadly pale. Only after a long silence does she hoarsely ask if Xi Chen finally knows she is pregnant. She thought she had hidden it perfectly, wondering if Cheng Yunfei was the one who spilled the secret. On the other end of the line, Lin Fengxing laughs in utter mockery.
Did you really think you could keep Xu Chen in the dark forever? Don't tell me you plan to secretly give birth.
And raise the child behind his back? At this exact moment, Lin Fengxing is honestly so relieved that his best friend can finally cut his losses. A cheating, two-faced woman like Xiao Wan
Is definitely not worth spending a lifetime with. Xu Chen deserves someone way better, and having her plan exposed completely crushes her.
Xiao Wan's face turns completely livid as a dark, dangerous shadow crosses her eyes.
Where on earth is Xu Chen right now? She demands to know so she can find him.
She wants to explain, but Lin Fengxing only narrows his eyes in disgust.
He suddenly shifts the tone, bluntly asking if she is willing to get an abortion.
If she can, he will tell her where he is. Xiao Wan hesitates for a long moment,
Before sighing heavily and saying he doesn't understand because Xu Chen is the one with physical issues.
He can't get her pregnant, she explains, but once she gives birth to this child,
She will force Cheng Yunfei to leave Lingchen City immediately and absolutely never allow him to take a single step back inside. Lin Fengxing silently shakes his head, feeling incredibly angry on his best friend's behalf once again. His best friend was so deeply in love with Xiao Wan that he foolishly took the entire fall for her infertility rumors.
Yet even after Xu Chen finally left, Xiao Wan was still only thinking about having a child. Even if he really couldn't get her pregnant, she should never have chosen the most painful, humiliating way possible.
To bear her first love's baby. I have nothing to say to you, Xiao Wan. One day you will pay for what you did, and Xiao Wan just frowns. She feels his warning sounds super weird and wants to ask for details. But he hangs up. She is not quitting. She starts calling all of Xu Chan's friends one by one to find him. Everyone showed up except Lin Fengxing. All of his friends are there, and they already know she cheated. She cheated with her first love. Some ignore her calls.
They reject her.
Most of them just scream at her to defend Xu Chen. Honestly, love that for them.
Xiao Wan makes dozens of phone calls, but still gets zero updates.
Desperate, she has to hire actual private investigators to track down his ongoing projects. By noon the next day, her assistant rushes in.
She cautiously reports that Xu Chen has officially left for Norway.
Xiao Wan turns completely pale. She is totally devastated. 5 years ago when they got married, his parents acted They forced her to sign a contract if he ever went to Norway alone. She could never step foot in Norway again, or she would lose everything. All her wealth would go to Xu Chen. In a raspy voice, she orders her assistant to book the earliest flight possible.
The assistant is stunned and warns her.
If she enters Norway, regardless of whether they make up or not, that contract instantly triggers, leaving her with absolutely nothing to her name. Are you sure? The assistant asks. Xiao Wan does not care. She just needs to explain things to him. Next, she rushes straight back to her villa after staying out all night. Stepping inside, the house is completely quiet. Every single trace of Xu Chen is gone. She walks to the bedroom. His documents are all gone from the drawer.
Xiao Wan's chest tightens up as she stares at the empty room.
Despair hits, and she tells maids to pack. She prints out their couple photos, determined to win him back in Norway.
An hour later, she heads to the airport. Suddenly, Cheng Yunfei bursts through the door and grabs her in a tight hug.
He looks down, asking about their baby. What if getting too stressed out causes an accident with their unborn child? 10 minutes ago, Cheng Yunfei found out about the massive penalty in her contract. If Xiao Wan goes to Norway, she loses her entire fortune to Xu Chen. Now, Cheng Yunfei is panicking. She promises she will be back in a week, but Cheng Yunfei refuses. He warns her that arguing with Xu Chen in her weak state is dangerous. She could easily miscarry. He demands she abort the baby first, claiming his rights as the father. He is totally bluffing here, betting she wants this fake baby. The audacity is unreal.
Xiao Wan hesitates, but ultimately backs down. She compromises, deciding to wait 2 months until the pregnancy is stable.
Xiao Wan tells herself she will find Xu Chen in Norway. She glares coldly at Cheng Yunfei, warning him to pray she delivers safely. Otherwise, she will make his entire family pay with their lives. Cheng Yunfei is low-key terrified. If Xiao Wan finds out she isn't pregnant, and that he bribed a doctor to fake the report, no, he arranged everything. She will never know. Worst case, he will just work harder in bed. Meanwhile, at the airport in Norway, Xu Chen drags his suitcase out and spots his mother waiting. His dad is there too, and his mom tears up seeing his exhausted face.
She quietly holds back tears for the brilliant son she raised so proudly.
Who has been completely drained after just 5 years of a toxic marriage. The light in his eyes is gone. Honestly, it is so heartbreaking. But his parents already know everything that happened back home.
From Xiao Wan's shameless betrayal to her secret wedding shoot, it has already become a massive public scandal. Xu Chen looks at his parents, realizing there is no hiding the truth.
He chokes up and apologizes. His parents are highly respected elites here, and he hates that his messy divorce might make them a laughingstock. But his mom hugs him tightly, whispering that it is not his fault.
Loving someone wholeheartedly and giving your all is never something to shame.
The real disgrace belongs to the one who cheated and lied.
His father silently nods in agreement. Talk about top-tier parenting, honestly.
He says leaving a toxic woman like Xiao Wan is a blessing. Now that he is back in Norway, they will help him heal. If he does not want to run the company, he doesn't have to. Their massive family wealth is enough to keep him comfortable forever.
His mom gently holds his hand, comforting him softly.
She says divorce is nothing. As their son, he always has the freedom to start over. She is a famous businesswoman, and her marriage to his dad was a massive power alliance.
Naturally, they completely spoil their only son. Xu Chen's eyes turn red.
His cold heart finally warms up, knowing his family is his ultimate shield.
He tells them he wants to study abroad before taking over the business.
For 7 years, he was blinded by love, but now his priority is career.
And family. Meanwhile, back in the city, Xiao Wan promised she'd wait for her pregnancy to stabilize first.
But lately, she's been completely ghosting her mistress. When Cheng Yunfei asks her out, she immediately rejects him over work.
When he cries about pain, she doesn't visit, she just sends a doctor. When he whines he can't eat, she literally tells him to go hungry.
She even forces him to sign a contract to buy out the baby, demanding he take the money and never see the child again. He is banned from her company forever. Staring at the paper, Cheng Yunfei totally loses it, screaming that she can't just lock him out of his own kid's life. Xiao Wan's face turns icy cold as she touches her stomach, thoroughly annoyed. Talk about a toxic relationship. Xiao Wan forces Cheng Yunfei to sign the papers, telling him he should be grateful he's even the father.
Then she starts posting handwritten letters on Weibo, begging her actual husband for forgiveness and acting all regretful.
To prove she's being sincere, she even films the entire writing process. No shot. People are absolutely not buying it.
I mean, she took her side piece to shoot wedding photos behind her husband's back. That drama is already viral.
The comment section instantly gets over 900 hate comments, telling her husband Xu Chen to never look back. Fans rally behind him, screaming that they'll always support their boy and destroy this cheating trash.
Xiao Wan completely ignores the hate. Rain or shine, she writes a new letter every single day.
Sometimes she's reflecting on her mistakes. Other times she's just crying about how much she misses Xu Chen. She begs for mercy. A month passes.
And surprisingly, some netizens are actually starting to side with her now. Talk about a plot twist. Meanwhile, Cheng Yunfei is panicking. She only shows up once a week, forcing him to interact with her belly.
He mumbles a few words to a baby that doesn't exist, and then she immediately leaves.
Honestly, she's literally just using him as a biological donor. No affection, nothing. With only 1 month left before Xiao Wan leaves for Norway, the clock is ticking. Because if she leaves, she'll get checked. Once she realizes she's not even pregnant, he's finished. Out of options, he makes a call. He contacts an old flame. By evening, a sleek black sedan pulls up to his villa. A woman steps out. The car leaves. She lights a smoke. She struts inside wearing a badass black leather motorcycle suit. She's gorgeous, but got this wild, rebellious look that screams trouble. Honestly, she gives off major spoiled, reckless rich kid energy. The moment Cheng Yunfei sees Yaoling, he jumps up from the couch and frowns. He snaps. Are you crazy, rolling in here so loud? Yaoling just smirks, leaning in to blow smoke right in his face. What are you so scared of, she teases. You think Xiao Wan doesn't know about us? Cheng Yunfei coughs. He backs away while Yaoling casually plops down on his couch.
She crosses her legs, scanning him up and down with an amused look.
Did you call me over to get back together? She asks, but he just glares in disgust.
He's literally questioning how his taste in women used to be this bad.
He gets straight to the point and reveals Xiao Wan isn't even pregnant, completely shocking her. She freezes, coughing violently.
This whole baby drama has been all over the internet.
So she knows the tea, and now she's just staring at him in disbelief. Are you insane? She asks. How do you even fake a pregnancy?
Cheng Yunfei just sighs, muttering that he wishes he actually did get her pregnant.
Wait, are you shooting blanks? Yaoling jokes, judging him hard. He snaps. Enough games. Getting serious, he explains that Xiao Wan has absolutely no clue she's not pregnant. Then he drops the bomb about her moving to Norway, leaving Yaoling stunned.
She puts out her cigarette and narrows her eyes, finally putting the pieces together.
So if she leaves, all her massive wealth goes right out the window. If everything goes to Xu Chen, you can say goodbye to getting a single cent of his money. But Cheng Yunfei just stares at Yaoling, basically asking what any of this has to do with him. Her dark eyes flash with a strange light as she says, "Of course it does." This is his only shot at a comeback, but Yaoling just frowns, wondering what he's planning. Cheng Yunfei squints, sizing her up. Turns out Yaoling is actually his ex-girlfriend. She belongs to the prestigious Yi family, whose ancestral mansion sits right next door in Fengcheng. As the undisputed top dogs of Fengcheng, their empire is way bigger than even the Xiao families. But here is the catch. Back when he was dating her, he had no idea she was illegitimate, and the Yi family's rules crazy strict. They ban illegitimate children from touching the family business. So all these years, she only got some pocket money, never getting near the real family fortune. Staring at Yaoling in the dimly lit room, Cheng Yunfei makes his move. He whispers for her to go to Norway and find a way to get rid of Xu Chen. Yaoling freezes mid-light, staring at Cheng Yunfei in absolute shock.
This guy is clearly out for blood. She asks, "What do your problems have to do with me?"
His face turns dead cold as he whispers, "Yaoling, Xiao Wan is the main heir here. If I can secure my spot as her husband, the entire Xiao empire is ours."
"Help me out, and I promise you will be set for life."
He squints, reminding her that without him, she is stuck living on pocket money forever. She is too proud to work a basic 9-to-5, and she knows it. Starting a business is also out. The moment she tries, that old matriarch of the Yi family will crush it. But if she kills Xu Chen, it stops Xiao Wan from chasing him to Norway, letting Cheng Yunfei take the throne. He promises she will never have to beg her family for scraps again.
And wait, his master plan gets even wilder. He wants to trigger Xiao Wan's miscarriage.
Then he will trick her into IVF, making her carry a child genetically belonging to them. His words echo through the dark room, and honestly, the sheer audacity is mind-blowing.
Yaoling gazes at the moon, reaching out as if grabbing the world.
She is totally sold. "Fine," she says, booking her flight for tomorrow. But before leaving, she grabs his chin with a cold warning. "Double-cross me and you die."
Meanwhile, over in Norway, Xu Chen finishes up his online classes.
He kicks back on a balcony chair, enjoying a cozy fire and just chillin'. For a whole month, he stayed far away from all that toxic relationship drama. Honestly, the guy looks glowing and way more energized without his toxic ex. He is just about to roast a sweet potato when his phone suddenly rings. It is his buddy Lin Fengxing teasing him about his supposedly devoted ex-wife. He asks if Xu Chen saw her posting handwritten love letters all over social media. Xu Chen literally cringes, asking why she cannot just move on in peace. Fengxing laughs, saying she is posting daily writing videos to milk the drama. The entire internet is eating it up, falling for her sob story. But then his tone shifts. Apparently, in about a month, Xiao Wan plans to track him down in Norway. Xu Chen pauses. He has zero interest.
On the other end, Fengxing just stirs his drink, knowing how messy this is.
He's just worried she will trigger some 15-year agreement if they meet. But if Xu Chen rejects her, she will lose both her man and her fortune. Chen Ye immediately got the hint. A cornered beast is always the most dangerous. Lin Fengxing only called to warn him to watch his back. Now that is a real brother right there, and Chen Ye was definitely taking the warning seriously. Once he hung up, he decided not to stress his parents out about Xiao Wan showing up. Honestly, his parents had been through enough stress lately, and they were already planning a major announcement. They wanted to officially hand over the Xu family empire and set him up as the new boss.
Later that afternoon, his mother got back from the office and lightly knocked on his door.
She told him to join them for dinner tomorrow night because they wanted to introduce him to someone important. Looking up from his computer, he obediently agreed to go.
By now, Cheng Yunfei knew exactly how his parents operated. These private dinners were never just casual hangouts. They only met with major power players. Fast forward to the next evening.
He was driving his parents to the venue, completely unaware of what was creeping up behind them. A mysterious black car was tailing them all the way to a high-end restaurant built right on a seaside cliff. The view of the snowy fjords outside was absolutely gorgeous, and after sitting down, he headed to the restroom. Passing through the corridor, the stunning ocean view totally caught his eye, making him pause for a second. Feeling the chilly sea breeze over the endless ocean was honestly so peaceful. But just as he was enjoying the view, a dark figure suddenly crept up behind him. Before he could even react, two hands slammed into his shoulders, throwing him completely off balance. He desperately reached for the railing, but the attacker was too fast and shoved him right over the edge. He plunged straight down, crashing hard into the freezing, pitch-black ocean water below. He tried to scream for help, but the icy water instantly choked the sound right out of his throat.
As the violent waves dragged him under and his consciousness began to fade, this next part is actually crazy.
A slender hand grabbed him just in time, pulling him back to the shore 5 minutes later. Weakly opening his eyes, he realized he was resting in the arms of a breathtakingly beautiful woman. She was completely drenched, with her elegant cream-colored dress clinging to her skin. Water was dripping from her wet hair, yet she still looked like an absolute goddess. She looked down at him with a calm, piercing gaze. Helping him sit up, she softly suggested getting him changed before he caught a cold, addressing him as Mr. Xu. 5 minutes later, Cheng Yunfei was wrapped in dry clothes, shivering in front of a space heater. As the warmth finally cleared his head, he stared at her blankly and asked how she knew who he was. He clearly remembered her calling him Mr. Xu just moments ago. Lu Xingyao simply smiled, now wearing a stunning, elegant black gown. She looked incredibly gorgeous as she replied that she indeed knew who Xu Chen was.
Cheng Yunfei froze. A sudden realization hit him.
He asked if she was actually the mystery guest his parents had invited to dinner. Lu Xingyao nodded with a sly grin, leaving him utterly speechless as he stared at her. Anyone his parents wanted to introduce to him had to be incredibly wealthy and influential. Over the past month, his parents had introduced him to plenty of elite power brokers. But they were almost always middle-aged, so meeting someone his own age was extremely rare. Looking at Lu Xingyao, he quietly begged her not to mention the attack to his parents. He did not want them worrying over him, and she agreed before they headed back inside. She was incredibly considerate, letting him head in first to avoid suspicion. 2 minutes later, she followed, but his mother immediately noticed his brand new outfit. When asked why he changed, he lied and said he slipped in the restroom and got dirty. He kept his head down, while Lu Xingyao quietly watched his reaction with a knowing look. He smirks quietly. This dinner with her family is actually going incredibly smooth. Our main character learns a bit more about her. Turns out her family is huge in oil. In Norway, her family actually outshines the exes by a mile. So Father Zhu asks her to look out for his son. When his parents get ready to leave, he makes a quick excuse to stay behind. He stays behind, and she immediately asks if he wants the tapes. Lu Xingyao looks right at him, and honestly, her sharp intuition completely blows him away. She saw right through him. With his parents around earlier, he couldn't act. There is so much he wants to keep hidden from them while he hunts down his attacker. Judging by how brutal that physical push was, it had to be a grown man. Lu Xingyao kindly stands up, offering to take him directly to meet the restaurant owner. Down in the security room, the staff quickly pull up the recordings from that exact time frame. But the worker sighs. The guy covered the camera right before making his move. They tell him that they could not capture the moment he was pushed into the water. The staff member hesitates, quietly suggesting that the mystery attacker was probably hired by someone else. He mentions their outdoor security camera caught the guy getting out of a luxury car owned by some woman.
Frowning, Xu Chen immediately asks if any of the security cameras got a clear view of their faces.
4 security guards start taking turns combing through every single piece of footage. Half an hour passes, and all of them reluctantly shake their heads and apologize. Both suspects were wearing heavy hats and masks, keeping their faces completely hidden from the cameras.
Xu Chen looks dead serious. This culprit is clever.
He demands they send him every clip of that woman because he wants the mastermind.
On his way back home, he immediately forwards the files to Ling Fengxing. He asks him to track this person down, and Ling Fengxing instantly senses that things are getting dangerous.
Worried, he listens as Xu Chen explains the attack while rubbing his temples in sheer frustration.
Honestly, if Lu Xingyao had not saved him, he would have literally drowned right there.
He promises to handle it.
Meanwhile, over at the villa living room,
Cheng Yunfei is desperately spamming Xiao Wan with calls, but she is completely ghosting him.
He furiously slams his phone onto the couch when suddenly the ringtone starts blaring loud.
he quickly grabs it, but his face drops when he sees the caller ID is Yaoling.
He sounds incredibly disappointed. What do you mean Xu Chen was actually saved?
Who the hell was that woman, he demands, as Yaoling starts explaining. As she details everything that went down tonight, his expression darkens into a mask of pure, toxic jealousy.
Why does that guy always get so incredibly lucky, he grumbles to her.
Sitting alone inside her car, Yaoling's eyes are practically burning with malicious hatred.
He managed to dodge a bullet this time, so he is going to be super on guard.
It'll be way harder now.
She warns him not to do anything reckless for now and to just wait for the perfect moment.
They will deal with him eventually, so he should just stay home and wait for her return.
But as she starts getting all lovey-dovey, Cheng Yunfei rolls his eyes and immediately hangs up. A week passes. He starts taking over the business.
His parents worry he can't handle it, so they keep things pretty light.
But after being out of the game so long, he still feels incredibly anxious. Luckily, Lu Xingyao is always right there by his side, helping him keep his anxiety in check. Lu Xingyao always says to approach clients with a playful mindset. If the deal goes through, we celebrate.
And if it fails, just make a friend. But when work became completely suffocating and stressful for our main character,
She would always offer solid advice. Whenever Yu Chen felt too overwhelmed, he would enjoy a quiet drink to decompress.
even if we are all just corporate slaves, we might as well be happy ones, right?
Her sense of humor never failed to make him laugh, giving him a much-needed break from the pressure.
But let's be real, Lu Xingyao is no corporate slave. She is a total goddess, and he is lucky to have her keeping him company. His week went pretty smoothly, but the psycho ex, Yi Yaolin, was already itching to make her move. However, his predictable daily routine left her with zero opportunities to strike.
Then, right after a major company meeting, Lin Fengxing calls Yu Chen out of nowhere with some massive news.
I found her, Lin Fengxing says, his voice sounding dead serious over the phone.
Yu Chen ducks back into his office and locks the door, asking who she is. Turns out, Yi Yaolin is Cheng Yunfei's ex-girlfriend. Lin Fengxing spills all the tea, explaining that she belongs to the powerful Yi family.
The Yi family is actually way more powerful than the Xiao family, but Yi Yaolin is just an illegitimate daughter.
Her mother, Chen Yan, was way too greedy, and the family patriarch saw right through her ambitions early on. So the old man had people secretly watch Yi Yaolin's every move, blocking her from ever touching anything related to the Yi family business. And once Cheng Yunfei realized she had no money, he immediately dumped her, packed his bags, and went abroad to find another rich girlfriend. But when that girl dumped him too, he had nowhere else to go, so he crawled back to China to latch onto Xiao Wan again. Yu Chen frowns as the pieces start falling into place. Did Cheng Yunfei and Yi Yaolin actually team up?
After a brief silence, Lin Fengxing agrees, saying that is his exact guess too.
Yi Yaolin literally tried to kill him last time, probably to make sure he was out of the picture for good. That way, Xiao Wan would give up on her dream of moving to Norway. Lin Fengxing sighs in annoyance. He says he has no idea what kind of spell Cheng Yunfei cast on Yi Yaolin to make her do this. Leaning back in his office chair, Yu Chen ponders for a moment before making a bold decision.
If they want him dead, he says, let's give them exactly what they want. Lin Fengxing is shocked. Wait, you want to fake your death?
Yu Chen nods. He calmly breaks it down. Once he fakes his death, and Xiao Wan rushes over for his funeral, he can legally strip her of all her property. That is what she gets for pretending to be so devoted. Honestly, she is such a hypocrite. She deserves this. Plus, once he is dead, Cheng Yunfei will stop Yi Yaolin from harassing him. Being stalked by that crazy woman is getting exhausting.
But here is the real kicker. Once Xiao Wan comes to Norway for the funeral,
he will make sure the gold-digging Cheng Yunfei ends up with absolutely nothing. This is honestly such a galaxy brain move. I am completely here for it. But faking a death is no easy task. He needs a reliable partner in crime. After thinking it over, he decides to reach out to Lu Xingyao for help. She is totally stunned by his request. So, you want me to help you find a way to let them quickly kill you?
without actually dying? A playful smile appears on Lu Xingyao's gorgeous face.
He nods, holding nothing back, and fills her in on everything that happened over the past 2 months.
Recalling the past doesn't even faze him anymore. His voice is completely calm. It is like he is telling someone else's story. He just wants to cut ties with those toxic people once and for all.
But he is not letting them off easy either, and faking his death is the absolute best weapon he has.
Lu Xingyao looks at him, a flicker of genuine heartache shining in her beautiful eyes.
She thinks about it for a few seconds before seriously analyzing the best options. Normally, jumping into the ocean is the easiest way to fake a death, but after his recent incident, going back to the beach would look too suspicious, and driving off a cliff is way too risky.
So she suggests a staged car crash instead.
A car crash? Xu Chen frowns. After thinking it over, our girl realized Lu Xingyao was completely right. Her daily routine was super tight lately, giving Yi Yaolin zero room to strike.
Messing with her daily drive was honestly the easiest way to get to her.
But how did they bait him into targeting her car? Lu Xingyao just smirked, and honestly, his brain is built different. "Leave it to me," he says, and she was incredibly grateful. By the next afternoon, Yi Yaolin still could not find any way to touch her. Frustrated, he drove back to his apartment and stopped at a restaurant for lunch. Right after he orders, 2 foreign guys in black hats walk into the place. They head straight inside, and honestly, they look a lot alike. Definitely brothers, both built like absolute tanks and towering over everyone. Covered in massive tattoos from neck to wrist, these guys did not look friendly at all. They sit right next to Yi Yaolin and casually toss a heavy backpack down. Inside are heavy wrenches, and they start whispering to each other in low English. "This one gig is enough to feed us for 6 months, the older guy says. That is old William, nearly 40, and he casually pops open a cold beer. He chugs it down, looking over at the younger guy sitting across from him. That is young William, around 28, who is currently rolling up his sleeves. He clinks bottles with old William, drinking like a wild beast. "We already messed with the car, and with the rain today, it is over. As long as that kid drives, he is definitely going to crash," he says. He shakes his head, saying this is exactly why kids should never have stepmothers. They pretend to be nice on the surface, but it only lasts a couple of years. Once the kid gets his license, the stepmom immediately tries to take his life. Overhearing this, Yi Yaolin's eyes instantly light up as he hatches a plan. He is dying to go over, but he can't find a natural opening. Seeing this, old William squints and drops even more bait. If it wasn't for these evil people, how else would we make a living? Young William sneers, saying the more evil clients they get, the faster they can retire. At this point, Yi Yaolin cannot sit still anymore, so he walks straight to their table. He smiles warmly, telling them that their entire meal is on him today. He says he needs some advice, but old William is immediately suspicious and asks if they know him. Yi Yaolin shakes his head, smiling shamelessly while admitting they do not know each other. But he has a huge favor to ask, because as the saying goes, meeting like this is fate, and since they already did one job, doing another one is basically free money, so he wants them to help him out. Pausing, Yi Yaolin grins even wider, asking how much their last client paid them. He offers to pay double, making the 2 brothers look at each other. Old William frowns, but after a few seconds, he grits his teeth and agrees. He says it is a deal since money is money, and Yi Yaolin completely relaxes. He clinks his beer bottle with theirs, and the 3 chat for almost half an hour. Yi Yaolin pulls out our female lead's picture to show them, finally leaving with a smug grin. The moment Yi Yaolin leaves, old William walks out and gets straight into his car. He dials Lu Xingyao right away, and bro, the trap worked perfectly as Yaoling took the bait. Lu Xingyao sits at his desk, spinning his pen, and calmly asks what the guy said.
Old William explains Yaoling's entire plan to him, detail by detail.
Yaoling tells her hired thugs to wait for a rainy day and target Xu Chen's car.
That's when they'll sabotage the brakes, Old William explains in a low, gravelly voice.
She repeatedly demanded the most ruthless sabotage possible, wanting him gone for good, promising a huge bonus if they succeed.
An extra $500,000, which makes Lu Xingyao stop spinning his pen. A knowing smirk plays on his face. How generous. Old William shivers at his tone, shocked because the boss usually keeps his emotions completely hidden.
But this time, his anger slipped, leaving William to ask for instructions.
Lu Xingyao thinks it over, telling him to only perform a light sabotage. The rest is on him, as he will arrange a body double to drive instead. They will fake a tragic car accident, honestly a 200 IQ play, right?
5 days later, a heavy morning downpour hits Norway.
Xu Chen drives into the underground garage as usual, parks, and heads for the elevator. Watching from a nearby car, Yaoling glares at his back and calls Old William. She tells them to strike right after the morning rush hour ends. He agrees, waiting until the garage empties out during the lunch break. Dressed in all black, with matching masks and hats, the two Williams slip in. They pry open Xu Chen's hood, mess with the engine, and sneak away. Once clear of the parking garage, Old William texts Yaoling that it's done.
She replies that she sent the final payment, adding that if Xu Chen dies tonight,
she will transfer another $500,000, earning a quick thank you from him. When the workday ends, cars slowly begin to filter out of the garage. Yaoling lurks in her vehicle, patiently waiting until 7:30 p.m. Finally, Xu Chen strolls over to his car, gets in, and starts the engine. He drives off toward his house with a clueless Yaoling trailing behind him. In the driver's seat, Xu Chen watches his rearview mirror. After heading down a quiet slope where there are barely any other cars, he rapidly whips the steering wheel, sending the vehicle into a skid. The car spins 3 times before slamming straight into a tree at full speed. Within seconds, the entire front of the car erupts in a massive fireball. Yaoling grins with pure satisfaction, snapping a quick photo on her phone. She drives away like nothing happened, but just 30 minutes later, the parents arrive.
Xu Chen's devastated parents rush to the hospital and immediately release an obituary.
They announce with deep grief that their beloved son Xu Chen has passed away. The accident took him from them forever on December 20th, 2024 at 8:17 p.m. He was 27, a remarkably loving and kind soul. He loved life, and his laughter will always be remembered. His love remains in their hearts, wishing their son eternal rest in heaven. They hope to be family again in the next life. This shocking announcement spreads like wildfire, sending waves through the city. Over at Lincheng Villa, Cheng Yunfei stares at the screenshot of the obituary. He paces around, bursting into a maniacal laugh. Bro is celebrating way too early. He mutters to himself that his biggest obstacle is finally out of the way. He tells the dead man not to hold any grudges. It's his own fault for blocking a path to wealth, but meanwhile, Xiao Wan hears the news. Right in the middle of a late-night board meeting, her phone suddenly starts buzzing. Xiao Wan picks up her phone and glances at a message from her friend. It is an obituary about Xu Chen's fatal car crash, and her eyes go red. Her small frame trembles violently, as if her entire world is tearing apart. She screams hysterically that it is impossible. How could her Xu Chen be dead? It is the first time her assistant has seen her lose control before the executives. Sensing something is horribly wrong, he steals a quick glance at her phone. Seeing Ji Chen's death report, he freezes. Bro, this is wild. He quickly dismisses the board, telling Xiao Wan to please stay strong. Her eyes bloodshot, Xiao Wan stumbles up to leave, but her vision goes pitch black. She collapses instantly, and her panicked assistant rushes over to catch her. He screams for help, shouting to get the boss to the hospital immediately. 2 hours later, Xiao Wan finally opens her eyes in the hospital room. The very first thing she does is grab her phone to check the obituary again. Her lips tremble as she breaks down completely, crying out, "Xu Chen, I am so sorry. How could you leave me all alone like this? How am I supposed to live without you?" Muttering to herself in despair, she turns her tear-filled eyes toward her assistant. She begs him to book her the absolute fastest flight to Norway. She just needs to see him one last time. But right then, the door swings open.
Cheng Yunfei rushes in, stopping dead in his tracks at the entrance. He stares at the utterly devastated Xiao Wan, a dark, unreadable look in his eyes. Even when he abandoned her years ago, she never broke down like this. At this point, Cheng Yunfei walks up, asking what was so good about that dead guy. He grabs her hand, hysterically trying to play the victim and voice his own grievances. You want to go to Norway, he snaps, but Xu Chen is already dead. What is the point of going now? What can you possibly do over there? If you go, you will lose every penny. But hearing this, Xiao Wan glares up. She violently flings his hand off, standing up to slowly corner him with a freezing glare. Terrified by her pure, murderous gaze, Cheng Yunfei stumbles backward in fear. He backs up until he hits the wall as Xiao Wan clenches her fists. She beats his chest, screaming that if he had not stopped her from finding Xu Chen, they would have made up long ago, and Xu Chen would still be alive. You are the one who indirectly killed him, and right now, I need to stay calm. Once I successfully give birth to this baby, I will make your life a living hell. Her cold, ruthless voice leaves Cheng Yunfei shivering in absolute terror. He dares not say a single word, completely frozen, until she finally lets him go. As Xiao Wan walks away without looking back, Cheng Yunfei collapses to the floor. His eyes are filled with panic and hatred. Everything is gone. He calculated everything, but never expected that Xiao Wan would actually make this choice. Knowing she would lose all her wealth, she is still going. No way. Once Xiao Wan sets foot in Norway, that inheritance agreement will immediately take effect. She will be completely useless to him, so he needs to win back Yi Yi. Yi Yi might be an illegitimate daughter, but she is still richer than a penniless Xiao Wan. Without wasting a second, he pulls out his phone and dials Yi Yi's number. He puts on his sweetest voice, asking when she is coming back so he can cook. The next afternoon, Xu Chen's funeral begins, and things are about to get even crazier. The sky is gloomy, with a light rain falling. Xu Chen's parents carry his funeral portrait inside as a crowd gathers to pay their respects. His ex-wife Xiao Wan rushes in, completely barefaced, without any makeup. Her face looks utterly exhausted, as if she aged 10 years overnight. Entering the hall, Xiao Wan stumbles and sways with every step. She drops straight to her knees in front of the altar, bowing 3 times without getting up. Sobbing that she is late, she suddenly slaps herself hard across the face. She gasps out that she never should have humored her lover and should have come to Norway sooner. Wondering if the car crash hurt, she weeps, knowing he must have cried from the pain. If only she had stayed by his side, she might have actually saved him. She begs her husband to wake up and just look at her one last time. The crowd watches this scene in utter shock, since most of them know the messy history between them. Rumors always claimed Xiao Wan did not love her husband, preferring her secret lover instead. But seeing her breakdown right now makes those rumors look completely fake. His parents just stand there with freezing stares, silently exchanging a knowing look. They do not say a single word, and Xiao Wan is too hysterical to notice. Hidden among the crowd of mourners is a very familiar figure wearing casual black clothes. Sporting a black face mask, he glares at Xiao Wan with an ice-cold expression. Standing right beside him, Lu Xingyao holds up a black umbrella over his head. Noticing how intently his friend is staring at Xiao Wan, Lu Xingyao's eyes soften with concern.
Feeling the pity, Xu Chen frowns and meets his gaze, whispering that he does not feel bad for her at all.
He only feels sorry for himself. Back when he received the first mocking message from her lover, that bragging voice note kept him awake all night, unable to close his eyes. While Xiao Wan slept peacefully with another man, Xu Chen spent their 5th anniversary entirely alone. Even the blue fireworks she bought for their anniversary were just leftovers from her lover. When Xu Chen lay hospitalized after the brutal car accident, she brought that same man into his house, sleeping right in their wedding bed. At this point, how could he not pity himself? Lu Xingyao silently looks away. Seeing Xu Chen staring blankly, Lu Xingyao asks if they should leave and get some fresh air. Addressing himself as Mr. Xu Xinsheng, he smiles faintly and agrees to go. Just yesterday, he received his brand new ID card, embracing his new name and a fresh start. A week later, his parents make a massive public announcement.
They claim their nephew, Xu Xingsheng, will be taking over the family business. This sudden move instantly sends shockwaves through the entire elite circle of the city.
Meanwhile, ever since Xiao Wan returned from Norway, she has been completely miserable.
Drinking her sorrows away daily, she clings to his portrait, weeping for Xu Chen.
Sobbing that her husband must be lying, she begs to know if he is really gone.
She pleads for him to return, admitting her mistakes and promising never to betray him again.
While she drowns in regret over her affair, the gears of karma are already turning. The family lawyer brings out the legal agreement Xiao Wan signed 5 years ago.
Since Xu Chen is legally dead, he begins transferring all of her assets.
Everything goes straight to Xu Chen's parents, and his mother has zero intention of showing mercy.
She calls the lawyer, ordering him to target Xiao Wan's house, cars, and private collection.
Sell every single thing online for cash, she says. Do not leave her a dime.
She is going to make sure this cheating ex-wife gets exactly what she deserves. Honestly, the cheater's life is totally spiraling. A week later, Lawyer Li arrives at Xiao Wan's villa, staring at the completely wrecked woman. A flicker of shock crosses the lawyer's face for just a split second. She recovers instantly, telling President Xiao that Madame Xu ordered this villa sold. The new owner already signed the papers today, so she needs to clear out. But Xiao Wan snaps her head up. She laughs bitterly, asking if they want her gone now that Xu Chen is dead. None of his things are left here anyway, so staying is completely pointless.
Xiao Wan stumbles toward the door as her worried assistant quickly follows behind.
She is missing Xu Chen so much, she only sleeps an hour a night. At her lowest, she even tried slitting her wrists before she can even exit the garden. Her knees buckle and she completely passes out. The assistant rushes her to the hospital, unable to watch this tragedy any longer. A quick phone call. 2 hours later, they arrive. A huge crowd storms into the hospital, led by old Madame Xiao herself.
Entering the room, she looks at the utterly ruined Xiao Wan on the bed.
Old Madame Xiao is furious while the nurse tries inserting an IV into Xiao Wan's hand. Just as the drip starts, Xiao Wan violently rips the needle right out.
The nurse sighs, trying again.
But Xiao Wan tears it out again, this time slicing her own vein open. Blood splatters everywhere, and the grandmother finally loses her patience. She slams her cane hard on Xiao Wan, forcing her to her knees. Xiao Wan looks at her grandmother like she is her absolute last hope. But she has zero will to live, begging her grandmother to let her join Xu Chen. She wants to be buried together, asking her to negotiate with his grieving parents. The grandmother's face turns completely pale, looking absolutely terrifying. She drags Xiao Wan up and pulls her straight to the bathroom mirror. Splashing ice-cold water on her face, she yells at her to look at what she became. Calling her the worst granddaughter, Xiao Wan slowly looks up at her reflection. The woman in the glass has hollow cheeks and completely lifeless eyes. A literal walking corpse. And honestly, ever since losing Xu Chen, she has been living like a total ghost. 5 years ago, they promised to grow old together, but when did she actually change? Was she just bored of a peaceful life and chasing some cheap thrill? Or was she tempted after seeing her friends constantly swapping guys? Thinking she hit it perfectly, she just kept pushing her double life. Disgusted by her own actions, Xiao Wan slaps herself hard across the face. She ruined their marriage, and driving him back to Norway was her biggest mistake. He would never have died in that car crash. Her grandmother watches her regret. Sighing deeply, she remembers when Xiao Wan was once the pride of everyone. Her favorite granddaughter is now trying to end her life over a broken relationship. With a grim face, she orders the assistant to get her cleaned up immediately. Half an hour later, Xiao Wan finally looks like her old self again. Sitting fresh in front of her grandmother, she sees a massive stack of files. First, she slams down the wedding photos of Xiao Wan and her lover. Old Mrs. Xiao clears her throat, her voice naturally carrying that massive final boss authority. She tells Xiao Wan that since she cheated first, they cannot even face Xiao Yan's parents. Every single business and fund under her name is being handed to them. It is payback for her toxic actions, and then the grandmother takes a heavy pause. She pulls out a stack of recent newspapers covering Xiao Wan's massive scandals.
She slams the papers right in Xiao Wan's face. Take a good look. The public is absolutely dragging her, and Xiao Wan can only frown in silence.
She glances at the news. The headlines are a wall of negative press. This is wild. They call her a cheating fraud who played with her husband's feelings and got him killed.
The internet is literally warning everyone to stay far away from toxic women. Back when Xiao Wan and Xiao Yan first married, the internet actually shipped them hard. A ton of followers watched their entire journey go from wedding bells to divorce.
Those who knew the real story felt incredibly bad for Xiao Yuan. And then, boom, news of his tragic car crash in Norway got leaked online.
That is when the internet lost it, slamming Xiao Wan for pretending to be loyal.
The public backlash got so extreme that the Xiao Group's stocks took a massive nosedive. Old Mrs. Xiao takes a deep breath and decides to release a public statement. She banned Xiao Wan from the family business for 5 years as her punishment.
She reminds her that their family demands total loyalty because a broken home ruins absolutely everything.
Xiao Wan looks down with lifeless eyes, weakly calling out to her grandmother.
But a 5-year ban is basically a death sentence, since the family has many heirs.
In those 5 years, her ambitious siblings will easily surpass her. Basically, she is about to lose her spot as the family successor forever. Still, Xiao Wan thinks that since she already lost Xiao Yan, nothing else matters. She accepts it. The old lady just shakes her head. Dusk falls. The old lady leaves.
All right, so Cheng Yunfei finds out Xiao Wan got banned for 5 years.
He sits alone in his room, totally spiraling, remembering his last call to Yaoling.
He had offered to cook her a meal, and she promised to come see him.
But then she calls back.
She said her grandfather wanted her back at the family mansion and then hung up.
He completely lost touch with her, and now Xiao Wan is banned from the business.
He desperately needs to get back with Yi Yaoling, so he calls her again.
But his call goes straight to voicemail again, leaving Cheng Yunfei frozen in panic.
He tells her best friend, who stays silent, before asking if he really does not know.
She tells him Yi Yaoling died in a crash. Ain't no way.
He has no idea she actually died on the day of Zhao Yuan's funeral.
Right after faking his death, Zhao Yuan had sent Elder Yi all the incriminating videos.
He sent over the security footage, and the old man went dead silent.
The grandfather apologized for his granddaughter and asked how Xiao Yuan wanted to settle it.
Xiao Yuan did not want money. He just wanted justice, and his survival kept secret.
That night, Yi Yaoling was summoned back, rushing straight to the family mansion.
On the exact day of Xiao Yuan's funeral, the old man executed family law.
He whipped her 100 times, ordering her to turn herself in the next day. But Yi Yaoling still refused to admit she did anything wrong, blaming absolutely everyone else. He blamed everything on his birth, or at least that is what he claimed.
His only crime was being born to a mistress. Meanwhile, Yi Yaolin scales a wall to escape her family mansion. The old man orders his bodyguards to hunt her down in a brutal storm. Yi Yaolin's car suddenly hydroplanes in the pouring rain, killing her on the spot. Cheng Yunfei turns pale.
After thinking it over, he decides to cling to Xiao Wan no matter what.
Their messy drama is already public knowledge.
Honestly, without Yi Yaolin, no other rich girl would ever marry him.
Now she's dead. She's his last resort. Even a fallen elite family is still rich. He just needs to endure her for 5 years. Eventually, she can reclaim her family's massive business empire. That very night, Cheng Yunfei secretly bribed Xiao Wan's primary doctor. His order? Manipulate her daily medication.
Slip in a pill that causes severe bleeding. Talk about an absolute scumbag move.
The next morning, Xiao Wan takes the medicine and immediately collapses in pain. Drenched in cold sweat, she suddenly feels a warm rush down her legs. Realizing something is terribly wrong, she frantically slams the emergency call button on her bed.
"Save my baby!" she screams as the doctors rush in. After a rushed examination, they wheel her straight into surgery. By noon, she finally wakes up to the devastating news. Her baby did not survive.
She breaks down in tears. First Xu Chen leaves me, and now my baby too.
Cheng Yunfei stands by her side, putting on a fake face to comfort her.
Xiao Wan hurls her pillow right at him, screaming for him to get out.
Get out. 3 days later, she is discharged. Under his recommendation, she agrees to bury the lost child in a local cemetery. Staring at the tiny grave, her eyes turn red. Baby, Mommy failed to protect you. Cheng Yunfei pulls her close, whispering that they can always have another child. She pushes him away with cold disgust. Don't touch me, you make me sick. He freezes, pulling his hand back. But wait, look who's watching. Lin Fengxing is parked nearby in his car, watching the entire dramatic scene unfold. He dials Xu Chen's number. I have handled everything exactly as you instructed. The medical reports are printed out. Someone will deliver them to Xiao Wan shortly. I wonder if she will regret everything once she sees the truth. Just then, a worker approaches Cheng Yunfei. He whispers, Mr. Cheng, we need you over here to fill out some registration forms. Cheng Yunfei walks away. The perfect time to strike. A female staff member walks up to Xiao Wan, quietly handing her 3 sheets of paper. From a distance, Cheng Yunfei notices someone approaching Xiao Wan with those documents. Instantly on high alert, he runs back. But it is too late! Xiao Wan is already looking at the medical files! The diagnosis page leaves her frozen. Permanent female infertility. Wait, what? Her pupils shrink in horror as she violently grips the report sheet. Pale as a ghost, her hands tremble as she pulls out the second document. A pregnancy test report showing a negative result. No shot, she was never pregnant. And the third page? A bank transfer screenshot of Cheng Yunfei bribing the doctor. Her face turns pure white with rage as she glares daggers at Cheng Yunfei. She is radiating this terrifying, icy aura, like she literally wants to tear Cheng Yunfei apart. Cheng Yunfei turns pale as a ghost, realizing she knows she was never even pregnant. He plays victim, swearing it is all a setup. Instead, he stammers, desperately grabbing her arm. He begs her not to believe the reports because someone is framing him. Honestly, this guy is shameless. Xiao Wan's expression goes dead cold as she flings his hand off. She pulls out her phone and immediately calls Dr. He, the doctor who did their exams. Doctor, he hesitates before dropping a massive truth bomb. Xu Chen begged him to hide her infertility. The poor guy wanted to protect her pride and career. So he took the fall, changing the medical results. He made it look like it's his own issue. The doctor adds that Xu Chen truly loved her. Hearing this absolutely shatters Xiao Wan, like 1,000 needles stabbing her heart. She can barely breathe. Suddenly, she loses her mind and starts laughing hysterically. Now she finally gets it. Xu Chen loved her more than life itself. He sacrificed everything for her. Talk about a low-key, heartbreaking moment. She realizing she is the villain here. She threw him away. As she breaks down sobbing, Cheng Yunfei sees how manic she looks. He tries to sneak away, but he does not get far before she grabs him. She signals her bodyguards, and they slam him right onto the floor. Xiao Wan stomps on him with pure fury, her voice sounding raspy and demonic like a literal monster. She growls at him, asking if he had fun lying to her. If he had not seduced her and stopped her from finding Xu Chen, he would still be alive. She asks if she should just end him right here. Send him straight to hell. With every single word, she stomps harder on Cheng Yunfei's head. It is not enough. She grabs a heavy metal shovel nearby and brutally bashes his head. When he looks up, his forehead is literally split wide open. Blood pours down. But the villain is still talking trash, blaming her infertility for his lies. He screams Yu Chen was nothing special, complaining about the drama Xu Chen caused just by leaving. He screams that he deserved to die, boasting that Yaoling should have finished him off sooner. Suddenly, Cheng Yunfei freezes, realizing he just majorly slipped up. Xiao Wan glares with pitch-black eyes. She whispers, "So you made Yaoling kill him?" Cheng Yunfei shakes his head in terror, trying to deny it. Before he can finish, she swings the shovel and smashes him right in the mouth. The brutal hit completely disfigures his face as he spits out blood. At this point, she has completely lost her mind. She raises a metal shovel and absolutely wrecks Cheng Yunfei, smashing his head, body, and face. Minutes later, the guy cannot even stand and collapses straight onto the ground. But Xiao Wan does not stop. Meanwhile, bystanders who came to pay respects look on.
Watching her go completely feral, absolutely nobody dares to step in and stop her. Only when the police arrive does she finally stop. By the time they wheel him away, he is literally a bloody, unrecognizable mess. 3 days later, our main character attends the Xu family event as Xu Xinseng. This time, he sports a fresh haircut and wears sleek gold-rimmed glasses. Wearing a black mask in public, he only reveals cold, distant eyes. Keeping his identity completely hidden, he heads straight back to his office. Right after sitting down, he gets a sudden call from Lin Fengxing. The guy sounds incredibly cheerful, like he has some major good news.
Talk about absolute poetic justice. Cheng Yunfei got his sciatic nerve totally wrecked.
Completely paralyzed now, forced into a wheelchair for life. His face is completely ruined too. Hearing this, our main character freezes mid-click.
But what about Xiao Wan? Does she go to prison? Lin Fengxing shakes his head.
He sighs with regret, explaining that old Madame Xiao simply would not allow it. She refuses to let the family name be tarnished, so she privately negotiates with his parents.
They threw $3 million at them to settle it, but there is a twist.
Xiao Wan was forced to go abroad, banned from returning for 5 whole years.
Apparently, once she landed overseas, she completely lost her mind from the sheer shock. She refuses to eat or drink, waking up daily to do only one thing.
Just endlessly painting portraits of our main character. Hearing this, he looks down.
Absolutely calm. It is finally over. On the other end, Lin Fengxing just stays silent for a few quiet moments.
He knows how much resolve our guy needed over these past 3 months.
Breaking free from a whole 7-year relationship? He calmly handled all the drama. They chat a bit more before hanging up.
Right then, Lu Xingyao knocks and walks in, carrying some highly popular pineapple cakes.
They are super hard to get in Norway, but she places them on his desk.
She tells him to try some, and he looks up at her thoughtfully. This reminds him of how Xiao Wan used to chase after him back then.
Always buying him his favorite treats. He looks at this warm, gentle woman before him.
He gently tells Lu Xingyao that he just ended a 7-year relationship.
Right now, he is physically and mentally exhausted and needs 2 months of space.
Only then can he think about a relationship. Leading her on now feels wrong.
It is just not fair. His deep voice fills the room. The quiet office makes his words hit hard, but Lu Xingyao just smiles softly. Meeting his gaze, she tells him there is no rush. She has plenty of time. Honestly, finding a guy she actually likes is rare. She is totally down to wait.
He stares at her, a hint of emotion flashing deep in his dark eyes.
Picking up a pineapple cake from the desk, he takes a small bite. Fast forward 2 years later, we are at a beautiful church in Norway. A gorgeous wedding is happening right now with warm sunlight spilling all over the place. It shines beautifully over the bride's white gown and the groom's classic black suit. Bathed in golden light, he looks at her tenderly. Lu Xingyao holds the microphone, pouring her heart out to Xu Chen.
She admits she was a sworn bachelorette 3 years ago.
But everything changed when his parents visited her office to invite her out for dinner.
That was when she saw his photo on his mom's phone.
Just one look. It made her heart skip a beat, and she instantly knew he was the one. Marrying him suddenly sounded perfect.
She confesses that the night he agreed to date her, she was too excited to sleep. She even posted about finally finding her true love.
And when he finally proposed, she was so overwhelmed with joy when he held up that ring. She felt incredibly blessed to have him. She vows to love only him forever, because loyalty is in her blood. Fast forward 10 years later, and we find the regretful Xiao Wan arriving in Norway.
She goes downstairs to eat and spots someone familiar.
It is Xu Chen and Lu Xingyao. They are sitting together with their handsome 8-year-old son who looks just like him. But right now, the little guy's crossing his arms in a pout. He asks his mom why they immediately ran to the ocean just because Dad wanted to. But when he asked, he had to wait for summer. He complains that his mom is being totally unfair. Xu Chen can only smile, getting ready to comfort his jealous little boy. But Lu Xingyao stops him with a grin, ruffling their son's hair.
She explains it is not favoritism, but love. She says if she does not pamper his dad immediately, her heart will ache. Watching this incredibly warm and happy family from afar utterly breaks Xiao Wan's heart, and honestly, she brought this on herself. She cannot take it anymore and runs outside. Tears stream down her face. She decides not to disturb him, whispering that she is glad he is alive. She mutters a tearful apology, begging for a second chance. To be the one loving him next time.